Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting political paradigm within international relations called constructivism. We're going to talk about the author Alexander Wedden that put out a fascinating book in 1994 called Constructing International Politics. So to start off, he explains that states are social constructs and they're composed of two key aspects. In no particular order, you have the corporate identity and the social identity, and both sort of feed off each other. And depending how the state defines itself through these identities, it's going to establish how they're going to proceed with their policies. Basically, how the actor defines itself, it's going to give it a rule book of what it can do and what it cannot do. Now, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit so you guys can understand what I'm going for is basically, depending how one defines oneself, or in this case, the states, you're going to see certain things and not see other things. So you're going to have blind spots to certain problems and be hyper-focused on other ones. So that's something very important to take into account. So the corporate identity would be the constitutive quality of the actor and its ability to organize itself in a way that it becomes an individual actor. Just in case, if I didn't mention this previously, in international relations, we use the term actor and not subjects. That's more of a thing of international law. Now, corporate identity is constituted by four basic interests. So first you have ontological security, then physical security. After that, we have recognition of the actor, or in this case, states, by other actors. That one's super interesting because basically you're defined by how others view you, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. And last but not least, possibly the most abstract of all, is the idea that the state is the repository of the aspirations of its citizens, of them searching and looking for a better life. So in this case, we're going to first focus on the second one on this list, physical security. So the first one we're going to talk about is the second one on the list, physical security, and we're going to use it as examples, migratory policy, because that's sort of the main idea of this series of videos. And I have to say, this is a pretty hot topic. If migrants are a security risk for a country, if they are a liability, and these risks go through a very wide gamut between low-level criminals to full-on terrorists. But the main angle of a migratory policy is to establish if migrants are a security risk, if they are a liability to national security. Migrants normally are not a security risk. Yes, we can get a couple bad apples mixed in there. And we're talking about people that are moving to a place to establish themselves there, not people that are crossing the border all the time, trafficking stuff, be it goods or other people. And when I'm referring to goods, I'm talking about basically contraband and drugs. But in the other case, human trafficking, we're going to do another video focusing on that because that's a pretty big problem, a transnational problem in the international sphere. Also, since I mentioned transitory movement, we have to leave out tourists. But this idea that migrants can be a danger to national security on the highest level, or even on the lowest level, to normal citizens on the streets, is a big part of the podium of more right-wing type of politicians. While on the left, they sort of incline themselves to be more open and have a open door policy. That sounded really redundant, but sorry. But many times they're hypocrites because when migrants start moving into the areas where these politicians live, they have a very NIMBY type of attitude. It's like, not in my backyard. It would be very interesting to see the proportions of crimes committed by migrants compared to crimes committed by citizens of a certain country. I don't know the specific numbers right off the top of my head. I would have to Google them. But like in the United States, migrants commit far less crimes proportionally compared to its citizens. In the case of Argentina, this is also the case, even though the new government is trying to vilify certain migrant groups in the country. And this is very tied to its foreign policy and that the country doesn't get along with those other nations. So the migrants that come from those countries sadly have to bear the brunt of international spats between two countries. Now, another thing that I'm sort of getting ahead of myself, as I mentioned many times, like within a group of people that move to another country, they want a better life for themselves. They want to work. There are a couple bad apples every once in a while. Now, if a certain migrant group is not allowed to integrate themselves in the host society, they're marginalized. That can be very fertile grounds for criminal activity. That's where criminal organizations really can take hold. And that's another thing that we can focus on further down the line. But the thing is, in the case of migrants, they are very easy targets. Many times they do not have a voice. many times people do not want to hear them, so they are very easy pickings as scapegoats. That's why many politicians gain political capital picking on these specific groups. They are the evil other within our society. They are a problem. The thing is, depending on your migratory policy, this can lead to the local population perceiving migrants as a threat if it's managed poorly. And this will grow in persecutive tensions within the society. This can go from mistrust to foreigners all the way to persecuting and attacking migrants. So what I'm going to look for in the next video on this particular subject is levels of criminality of migrant groups compared to the citizens within their host countries. Let me see if I can find up-to-date stats from the United States, Argentina, within the European Union. Let's see if I can find anything on Russia too. But for now, we're going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.